Morning, guys. Mark Ferrasci with Protect Dog Training. Out here at the police scenario group we come to on the weekends. I brought Thor, that little husky mix that I've got. I've got him with me because he's got a little bit of a reactivity problem, and I find that a lot of times flooding works pretty well with this if you know what you're doing and you know how to do things in the right way. I use the class structure just for that. I got 40-50 people show up with different classes, the beginner, the intermediate, and the advanced, and so there's a lot of people milling around before they go up and put their money down on the table to get into the class for the day, and they get registered and get signed in. And there's a whole pockets of dogs coming and going, and people coming and going. So it's a really good saturation point to do what we call flooding. And a lot of times it's very good. If I just do a onesies and twosies, I go out in public and all of a sudden the dog just is there, and your dog is reactive, and you're trying to do it in a onesies and twosies fashion, it's not as productive sometimes as flooding, right? Some dogs are more conducive to a flooding environment. I generally use this as an overall in my program. I don't do it right away specifically. Every dog's a little different, and as usual, I let my gut tell me which way I'm going to go, and I just kind of probe and figure it out as I go. I've learned a long time ago, because I've been doing this for so many years, that there's no exact way to do anything, to pay attention to my instincts and my gut feeling of what I'm going to do and just go with my gut, right? If I do that, 90% of the time, I'm right on the money. And if I make a mistake or something doesn't go just right, I just back up and come at it a different way, right? And that's kind of true with training overall. When you start to get to a level that I do in training, that your instincts will serve you very well. There is no specific one way of doing things. I've got a guy right now that I'm working with that's pretty good decoy. He's learning, he's growing, he's on his way up. And so I'm kind of trying to give him a lot of my energy towards bite work and things. And he's talking, how do I do this? What should I do for that? And I'm trying to make him understand that there is no real exact way. It's a matter of how many tricks do I have in my tool bag to be able to pull out at any one time that I may need for that individual dog, because every dog is different and every instance is different, right? And when you fall on it, boom, there it is. Pull that out of the bag, boom, apply that a little bit, and sure enough, it starts to flow and you're on your way, right? So it's more about that. There is no specific way to solve any one problem, and that means a myriad of things that I could go through a list of things you're trying to work on, that you let your instincts tell you, and your job is to get the dog through it and get them to learn and to grow the dog, right? That's what you're doing. 90% of everything we do is growing the dog. Think about it. I mean, we want the dog to go from here to, and to get better and more proficient and to overcome problems, and there's a myriad of them. You don't never know what you're going to handle, right? So, all right, so that's my little yak session. I'm still waiting for people to show up out here. I got up at 5:30, like I said, so I'm out here at 6 o'clock in the morning doing my thing. Sometimes I wonder if I'm a normal person, because you don't see people do what I do, put so much love and passion into what I do, and so much energy. It's something that I've done since I've been 12 years old, and even at my age now, it doesn't stop too much. I have a lot of transitions in life, and things happen, and it may not flow the best at certain times based on where I'm at, my resources, what's going on with me. I mean, that all changes. That's life. But in a general overall sense, I'm pretty aggressive and love what I do pretty much. I was watching a podcast the other day, and they were getting into the age of the friggin' internet, just driving me nuts with these kids. It's all these likes and clicks, and it's like a bunch of roosters in a rooster yard, in a hen yard. And they're all saying, cock-a-doodle-doo, look at me, and they're trying to impress each other with going out and catching dogs. I call it the culture of the decoy nowadays. And I get irritated by it, I get frustrated by it, but something, I can't overcome it. I mean, it is life. Life changes. It's in a constant state of flux and constant state of change, and the internet is a part of our life right now. So I can sit here and put my head in the hole all I want to, and it's just going to keep swarming by me. And I basically start to get more and more haters, because I want to go against them and say, hey, grow up. You know what I mean? Go out and do it. Stop talking the shit and go do it. Apply it, do it, show it on the field. That's the people that I have the respect for. The Oscar Moras of the world, that go out there and they've done it. They're doing it. They're applying it every day. You see them doing something towards their craft and towards developing what they're into and what they're doing. And I could go into it pretty heavy. I may. We may have. I've got a friend of mine now that wants to kind of do a podcast type thing. We may sit down and have some good discussions on some of this stuff. Because as you guys all know by now, I love to yak. So, all right, I'll let you guys go. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, signing off. You will see fewer of these videos because I've got a lot of things going on, and I've kind of have a tendency to, I've got a lot of haters coming out of the woodwork right now. You know, they're all out beating the drum. You know, that guy's bad news. That guy's... And I love it because reality and truth is me putting a kink in their tail makes them go wah, and then they come after me. You know, so it's kind of like keys on your key fob. You ever hear that story? Keys on the key fob. You see a man with a lot of keys. He's an important person because he's got a lot of doors to open, right? Well, the more haters you get as you start to climb that ladder and you start to get closer to the sun, the more people want to come and burn you down. And like Icarus, or whatever the hell the name of the guy with the wings that gets melted by the sun and he falls to the earth, right? So the higher you get, the more you climb that mountain, and the higher you get, the more haters you have come out of the woodwork. And it's just kind of, it's a badge of honor to me. I look at it and go, okay, great. That means I'm making some headway, you know. Maybe what I'm saying is having an effect on certain people, you know, and that's a good thing. I do what I do because I believe in my philosophies. I believe in my industry as a whole. And I think there needs to be somebody out there that does what I do, and even at my own peril, you know, because here I have all these people that want to hate me, right? At my own peril, there's somebody has to be that voice that says, knock it off, you know, just go out and do it. There's so many sports out there right now. There's NADF. We got a trial coming up at the end of the month. You got Oscar with the Street League and Mike, you know, these guys that have built the Street League, that are building the Street League. It's a lot more to go in that sport, which is cool. It's neat to see something that's coming together and see their values and their interest and their love for something get metamorphosized, you know, get molded into something to become something. Think about PSA. When it first started, it was the same way. It was just becoming something. Now PSA is pretty solid, and it's got a pretty good structure, and it's not really going to change too much per se, but a sport like Street League's got a lot of growth and a lot more molding and a lot more shaping to go before it gets there, right? They're still in their evolutional stage, you know. But it's cool. It's really a neat thing. But it is the culture of the decoy, or the age of the culture of the decoy. And we'll talk more about that in a future segments, because I want to get into the subjects as we go along, because it's interesting to me to see the industry evolve and to change, and it's never ending. It's been doing that since I started it, you know, back in the 70s when I started, right? So, but it is what it is. All right, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, signing off. You guys have a good day. I'm about ready to start training dogs. Here they come. People are starting to arrive. Talk to you later.